All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. We're going to jump right into the lesson. This is Proverbs 21:6, and it says, "The getting of treasures by your lying tongue is a vanity, tossed to and fro of them that seek death." So, all this prophesying, so to speak, prophet, and as prophet was spelling it was a Profit. These false prophets, all this bullshit of making merchandise of the ministry. The Lord's if you see, the Lord's bringing heavy judgment upon that. The Lord's bringing judgment, and He's revealing every false way. So you know that we're in the times of great sifting. We're in the times where the Lord is searching out Jerusalem with candles. Go ahead and get that. It's Zephaniah 1:12, and it says, "And it shall come to pass that at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles." So the light's gonna expose all darkness, man. And that candle is the truth. And punish the men that are settled on their lease. Just get that word lease. I think that goes into complacency. They're settled on their lease. Dregs of wine or dregs of lease. So let's get that. If we can see what the NLT says. "I will search with lanterns in Jerusalem, darkest corners." See, so the darkest secrets are being revealed. Everything's getting brought forth to the light. It says to punish those who sit complacent in their sins. Because that's what men do. Men have certain vices and demons that they like to entertain, and they make excuses for those behaviors. They'll have the mindset of, okay, since I'm doing the work, I'm allowed to do this, that, the other. Or since I'm in this position, I'm allowed to do this, that, the other. But all that's getting brought to naught. All that bullshit is getting exposed by the day. It says they think the Lord will do nothing to them, either good or bad. It says, so their property will be plundered, their homes be ransacked. They will build new homes but never live in them. They will plant vineyard but never drink wine from them. So they're building shit only for the Lord to bring a curse upon it. And you got to understand that no matter how self-willed and self-successful and you're a self-made man, how fucking much money you think you can attain in this life, the Lord can snatch it from you in an instant. If He doesn't like what you're doing or how you're doing it, and He decides to bring judgment upon you, He can make you lose everything that you have. And He's doing that. He's making people lose positions and their statuses amongst these 2/3, amongst these false camps. It's happening, man. The Lord is bringing judgment. The Lord is exposing all the bullshit. And that's a warning for us. We warning the people. The brothers always say, the elders always say, hey, the Lord ain't nothing to mess around with. Brothers always say the phrase, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai ain't playing. This is in great seriousness. The things that you see that are happening right now. So let's go back to the King James Version. It says, "And it shall come to pass at the time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in the heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will He do evil." And that was a mindset of many men for long periods of time. The Lord allow you to be in your wickedness and your sinfulness for a season. But just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord had a breaking point, so to speak, that enough was enough. You know, how long was Sodom and Gomorrah getting away or having that wickedness take place without consequence? You know, who knows how long that was? But it was long enough for those individuals to be proud about it. And that's what happens, man, when someone gets away with a sin, you know, for too long, and someone's allowed to get away with shit for too long, a pride grows. A pride grows that you're untouchable. Look at any gangster movie or mafia movie, whatever you want to call it, and you'll see that same scenario played out. You'll see the scenario played out with a top gangster or goon or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, he's allowed to revel in his debauchery and live in excess. Not knowing that he's being watched by the feds or whatever, or a mistake may be made and all that shit just comes crashing down on him. That's happening to individuals in what we call this truth in Israel. You know, so this is a time of where those that seek to make profit, and it's not necessarily has to be money. It could be doing the Lord's work, you know, or doing things in the name of the Lord for your own advantage. You know, there was a lot of so-called ex-camp leaders and other individuals that moved in that fashion. You know, they use their status, they use their position for their own advantage. Reality, the Lord put them in that position to serve the ministry, to serve the brotherhood. And when they start doing that, basically they were exposed. So let's go ahead and we'll go back to Proverbs 21:6. This is Proverbs 21:6. It said, the gain of treasures by lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. So ultimately death is going to come to those individuals. It said, the robbery of the wicked shall destroy them because they refuse to do judgment. The way of man is fraud and strange, but it is as for the pure, his work is right. You know, so if you don't want to face the consequences of being put in a position of shame, or even worse, a position of death, then you just follow what's right. You let integrity and uprightness preserve you. You know, you clean house. You know, you clean your own house, man. You make sure that you're in good standing with your Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because at the end, you're gonna have to answer for all that. The scripture said that we're gonna make account for everything that we say and do. And if you think about all the bullshit that you probably done in the past, and if you're still doing it, that's a heavy thing to answer, man. But you know, these are the times of judgment. Let's go ahead and get 2 Peter 2:3. 2 Peter 2:3, and it says, and through covenants shall they. Well, I'll just start up. I'll start up verse 1. 2 Peter 2:1. It says, but there were false prophets among the people. And as Elder Gabar likes to say, always says, he says there are more false prophets than there are, you know, real prophets. But there were false prophets among the people, even as there should be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring him damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And we're seeing that happen, man. You know, the Lord gave warnings to these men, you know, through the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and to other various brothers in the truth. You know, probably the Lord chastised them for a season. They still didn't take heed. But now the judgment time has come. It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words. Let's get that word feigned. It says molded formerly from clay, wax, stone, feigned. Molded that is artificial, fictitious. It says, with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment not of long time lingers not, and the damnation slumbers not. Let's get in the NLT. It says, in their greed, they will make up clever lies to get hold of your money. You know, there's a scripture that says Jacob will supplant. You know, so he will supplant. He will speak slick in order to connive and bring a situation to his advantage. It says in the greed they might judge or they make up clever lies to get hold of your money, excuses. But God condemneth them long ago, and the destruction will not be delayed. So, you know, you're seeing that happen, man. It's going to happen in even a more severe and grander scale than what we're seeing right now. Because we are living in the time of the sifting. We were living in the time of searching Jerusalem. The Lord searching Jerusalem with candles. You know, this is a time of terror, man. Let's get Galatians 6 and 7. This is Galatians 6 and 7. It says, don't be misled. It's the NLT, but I'm going to get into King James as well. It says, don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of Yahweh. You will always harvest what you plant. Ain't no stopping it, man. Ain't no denying it. You know, we're seeing that. We're seeing that, man. We're seeing people getting their get back. You know, the scripture said, vengeance is mine. You know, the Lord said that vengeance belongs to the Lord. The Lord is executing vengeance upon those that misled and defrauded the people. To those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. Let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially those that find your favor. And that's what it is, man. That's all it is. Just be a solid individual. You know, be a man of respect and honor. A man of uprightness and integrity. Be as Job. All the great men of the scriptures, they were men of extreme moral integrity, man. They wasn't about no secret fuck shit, no fucking I'm gonna be this way, but behind in closed doors, I'm gonna be that way. And even those individuals that did that, the Lord brought a judgment upon them, man. Look at King David. You know, he tried to do some back behind the scenes type shit in order to get a woman. And the Lord judged him for that. You know, so if it can happen to the greatest of men, what makes you think the Lord ain't going to bring judgment upon you for doing so? But with that being said, just a real quick lesson here at the plantation. Most High will and hope is edifying. That will give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Kahalat Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Brothers, keep on pushing. Shalom.